All right, we're here with Rob Gorrie, who is an actor who's been on As the World Turns and is actually currently a teacher for acting. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background and also some advice on how to make it in the business?
Okay, cool. Well, like I said, I'm Rob. I'm 25, and I've been in the business for 10 years. I started out when I was 15. That's when I knew that I wanted to do it professionally. Went out to LA, had a manager out there, and started auditioning for TV shows and movies. And actually got my manager through a showcase, which I think is the best way for a beginning actor to really sign with an agent and start to get their feet wet, is to just showcase. Go to a showcase and meet as many people as you can. Just make sure they're legitimate and it's not expensive. So I started out doing that. I moved to New York when I was 18 and went to NYU. And my first professional job was on As the World Turns. I was on there, played a recurring role, Nate Bradley, and got a lot of experience doing that. Working with seasoned actors. It was good. I got to really get my feet wet and learn to hit my mark and how to take direction. And that was all crucial learning experiences. I parlayed that into some other roles. I did a movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. It was called Harold. It was a comedy. Came out in '08, and that was a lot of fun to do. I think that was probably my most treasured experience so far as an actor. Was working on a movie set and working with Cuba. I think that was the most fun. Did a Law and Order episode. I was a guest star on air, and also an episode of The Good Wife. And I did a pilot for the CW. I'm still not where I want to be in my career. I still am working to make it, as it were. And I would really dream of, I guess, taking it further and having my own series someday. My advice would just be to stay positive and, know that there's only one role out there for a particular job, and there are so many actors going out for that part. And the validation can't come from you landing the role. It has to come from how you feel when you leave the audition room. How do you think that you did? Be self-critical and take the things that you liked about your performance and the things that made you feel good about it and move on to the next one. And the things that you didn't like, well, work on those. Acting is a muscle, and you got to stay working out, and you got to stay in class. The more primed and ready you are for the audition, it's going to show up on camera. And that would be it. Stay positive, be self-critical, and honest with yourself, and you can really start to analyze and understand where you're at, and then take a class and work on your areas of weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of taking classes, you also teach. Where could somebody find out information about taking a class with you?
I work for the BIH Studios, Breaking into Hollywood Studios, BIHstudios.com, or you can look Backstage Magazine. There's a lot of good classes out there. They should be reasonably priced too. I'm not a big fan of the 2-year conservatory schools, really. I think to lock yourself into that is taking yourself out of the game for too long. 14-week intensives, those kind of things, and mix up your teachers too. Get a lot of different opinions and different feedback, and build your resume that way too.
And what are you looking to do now that you've done television? Are you looking to do theater?
I am looking to do theater. I think that would be a great way to gain exposure, especially in New York. Off-Broadway, Broadway, anything that I can do. I don't really have the best singing voice, so I'd like to do straight plays.
No musicals for you?
No. No.
Cool. So if you had one piece of advice to people when they go into an audition, what would it be?
Be loose. I think that the best creativity, natural creativity, comes from calmness, and try not to be over prepared.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.